If you were to die tonight, in this moment, would you be thrilled on what you chose? And then to know what it means to actually decide is to cut off everything else. And we don't know how to decide, so we're always just in limbo experiencing nothing because we are so worried about the consequences of our decisions. Instead of being like, I'm such a badass. If this goes to shit or if this goes terribly, I will figure out how to make it good, make it work for me, make it fun, right?
Yes.
And to start building the trust within yourself, which is actually the trust within life, because if we don't trust ourselves, we sure as hell don't trust life, that it all works out for us.
Welcome to the FWD Think Tank Podcast, a place of hope, inspiration, and education around holistic health and healing. I'm your host, Jamie Mazza, a holistic health coach, mental health advocate, and dancer. Join me as I share out-of-the-box conversations with integrative doctors, healers, and exceptional forward-thinking individuals thriving on the other side of their health challenges, as well as stories from my own personal healing journey. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so happy you're here. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the FWD Think Tank, a series of episodes with the brilliant and truly unique individual that is Dr. Cassie Wuthrich. This episode is so chock full of wisdom, of ways of thinking about life and healing. And this woman is somebody who my friend Callie introduced me to on social media. And I was just like, wow. Like everything she says, my mind is just like blown because she offers so many unique perspectives that are so simple. It takes everything that we know about the overwhelming information out there in the world and drills it down to really simple truths. And this woman has the stamina, the energy, the, mental bandwidth of no one that I have ever seen before. And she gave me 4 hours of her time. So Dr. Cassie, if you're listening to this playback, I appreciate you so much. I am just so drawn to you and the way that you think about things. We did record this quite a few months ago, but because of the length of time, I wanted to break it up into digestible parts. And I know whoever is finding themselves drawn to her and her work, continue to listen to everything that she shares in this episode, because truthfully, I had so many questions prepared and it ended up being more like a live masterclass. She really has a way of poeticizing her thoughts and kind of flipping the script on even some of my reactions to what she was sharing. So it was a very unique episode and one that I am truly proud of. And I think that so many people will learn from. Dr. Cassie Wuthrich is a naturopathic doctor, educator, speaker, and founder of Grit Inc. Through her own journey of healing the impossible and working with many patients that had tried it all in both allopathic and naturopathic worlds without success, she discovered unshakable truths that she now utilizes through her medicine and online classes to help others realize their true potential and optimal health and ultimately show them how to obtain freedom from the medical system. Dr. Cassie's passion is to provide medicine that heals and education that demystifies healing. Her medicine weaves together the modern world of quantum medicine with the unchangeable truths held in ancient wisdom. She helps her clients understand the language of their body through a deep listening and understanding of how all things, including the mind, action, neurology, relationships, heart, and soul, impact the physical body. She focuses on all that encompasses the human and believes that with true understanding, truth, and grit, you can do what most say is impossible. Above all, she believes, lives, and teaches that your life is your medicine. It's truly transformational to sit down and listen to this episode. It is like a giant masterclass of life. So I welcome Dr. Cassie to this podcast. I'm so grateful for her being here. Know that this will be a 2-part listen, and I hope you enjoy it. Please leave feedback, ask us questions. We want to hear from you. And I truly thank you, Dr. Cassie, for being here. So with no further ado, please welcome Dr. Cassie Wuthrich to the Forward Think Tank.
Oh, I'm so fascinated listening to you. I feel like I sat here, I prepared all these questions. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask her this, and this. And like, no, none of it even matters because I needed to hear so much of this. And it's funny, I had an interview last week with a friend of mine, and I asked her a question like, what are you no longer willing to put up with after going through this, health scare of yours? And she answered, and then she turned it back around to me. And what immediately came up for me, and I felt myself being like, oh my God, but we're still working on this, is I'm not putting up with my own bullshit anymore. And I just heard you say that. And I'm like, okay, you needed this reinforcement.
What
You are going to go through this.
Of you do. The version of you that doesn't put up with your own bullshit immediately, instantaneously, and unapologetically will not put up with anybody else's bullshit or manipulation. That's the golden ticket. That's exactly why it has to work that way. Yes. And now when you do the work, because it will be work, the work will matter. And doesn't it feel so much different when the work matters, when there is a visible outcome to the effort you're putting in, instead of just being in that hamster wheel of nothing is changing and I'm working my butt off and now I'm just overwhelmed and exhausted. I'd rather you get tired every single day in a way that changes your freaking life than be exhausted doing things that didn't matter.
Amen.
And
yes,
the way that I always see it, all of this is in you. Truth is already in us. That's why we know how to resonate with it. That's why it's familiar. Even though we didn't read all the same books, we didn't have the same education, we haven't had the same life, truth is a truth. And that's why when it hits something that resonates there, meaning it's already in you. That's why when we're like, this is familiar, that's why my new friend was like, it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Right? So to start playing with this part of you, how cool could life get if you're like, okay, I'm tired of being the version. And even if I'm completely delusional, you do the experiment. Be completely delusional. How did it feel? Okay. Now what? Because at the end of the day, this whole thing can end and we can look back and be like, that's who I was. And I could have done all of that and I didn't do any of it because I thought wrong. And they can be like, yeah, how would that feel? Or you can be like, that's who I was. That's what I was given. I had no idea what I was given, but I used as much as I possibly could and had the most rad time doing it. Whew. That feels better than just suffering and struggling and call it living. Definitely don't call that healing.
No.
Right.
No. Again, like there's so many things that are just like popping up in my head, but unfortunately, just to, like tie into that, my husband's uncle passed away and we had the services and I found myself like, oh my God, I needed to hear all of this. So his brother did the eulogy and this man, I mean, I had only known him for, the last 13, 14 years. Most of that he was battling Alzheimer's. But in the very beginning of us getting to know each other, I remember, sharing with him that I had gone skydiving. He's like, oh, he was such an adrenaline junkie, this man, apparently, like in his previous life. He was in the military. He played rugby. He like did all these really wonderful things. And his brother's telling the story about how he got in trouble when he was 9 years old for crossing the street. And his mother's like, don't do that again without an adult. And he's like, okay, I won't. The next day she finds him across the street and she's like, I told you not to do that. He's like, I didn't. He ended up crawling like underneath the ground into the sewer. He's like, Mom, I didn't cross the street. I found myself laughing, crying, and like taking away from it, like this man lived. He lived and he didn't care. He just he did whatever he had to do. He did whatever lit him up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sitting here in my little tortoise shell, like, oh, is it safe to come out yet? And it's like, well, no. If my life ends tomorrow or ends a week from now, like, am I going to say I lived fully?
Yeah. No, and that's the hardest thing because you're constantly going back and forth between all of that. That's always in circulation in your head. But again, you just, every time I get overwhelmed or too complicated, I'm just like, simplify it. If you were to die by tonight, in this moment, would you be thrilled on what you chose? And then to know what it means to actually decide is to cut off everything else. And we don't know how to decide. So we're always just in limbo experiencing nothing because we are so worried about the consequences of our decisions. Instead of being like, I'm such a badass. If this goes to shit or if this goes terribly, I will figure out how to make it good, make it work for me, make it fun. Right. And to start building the trust within yourself, which is actually the trust within life. Because if we don't trust ourselves, we sure as hell don't trust life, that it all works out for us. Instead of using these affirmations, I often hear people just pleading with the divine. Everything works out in my favor. Everything I'm healing. I'm like, you're pleading. You're not believing. And there's a total difference in how to start changing your brain. That's why when I teach people about changing their mind is you have got to give your body the evidence. You've got a life of evidence of being fearful and still being here. So your brain's like, well, you're alive. So
you're doing something right. It's not enjoyable.
The terms and conditions say alive and happy. You're alive. Done. Say less. Right? So you've got to update your terms and conditions and be like, I'm not safe. I'm not safe in this building. You're not safe in that building. Right? You know, it shouldn't take car accidents and natural disasters to snap us into the reality of you're really not safe. Right? You like to pretend that you are. So if you're going to pretend, let's pretend to the positive in every possible way. Because again, what happens when cars are on top of children? Mothers find strength that they didn't even have literal capacity to access. So when you're in flow state, that was one thing I studied too, is athletes, like they're accessing human power. It's not something you don't have. It's just something you're never accessing because you're living a life that you're hiding away. You can't see how brilliant you are. Like that was the one thing too. I thought I was so isolated and nobody liked me and I was just a loner. But do you ever get out in the world to where somebody could run into you to give you a different story? No.
Yeah.
You're so busy working and working and working. And then you had one human being in your life that was so negative and so hurtful and so harmful that was starting to shape yourself. And that's not a good setup. Go get more evidence, right? And just talk to yourself in that intellectual way. Let's go maybe gather some more evidence. Maybe go look for how people are, you know, amazed by you and not in a, you did a job for them transactional. I think it's stripping life from so many of us because it's easy to be like, well, yeah, you know, my patients like me, but I was working my ass off.
Right. And they're paying me.
And then we minimize it and be like, yeah, but nobody really likes me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We create stories and then we let that build. And then that's part of our emotional system and our neurological outlook and our prediction. And so then it's like, no, actually, I'm going to go live a life. And like I tell my patients all the time, and then I literally did it with myself. I'm like, if you don't know your favorite flavor of ice cream, the prescription is actually freaking fantastic. If you take you all over the world, go try every freaking flavor of ice cream that ever existed, ever, the best, like everything. Come back. What a cool prescription. Instead of being like, I don't know my favorite flavor of ice cream. Oh, sucks to suck. No, go. Or, I don't know my favorite song. Do you know how many are out there? Do you know how many cool people you're going to find? Do you know how many cool places you're going to have to go to? Do you know how many countries you're going to have to access if you really, truly wanted to find your favorite? Because most of our favorites, the best of what we've experienced so far. Let's use words appropriately. You don't know your favorite. Get out there. And then it's just like, but I don't know what to do or how to create a life I love. And start with your favorite flavor of ice cream. Then go to your favorite song. Then go to your favorite fabric. Then go to your favorite writing style. But that's a selfish way to live. I wonder why they try to teach us out of that. Because if we were so selfish that we knew ourselves so well and we were the truest, most like in our integrity and exactly who we are, how we are creating and doing and contributing, how we were designed because we were so selfish. I don't know about you, but the more selfish I got, the better version of me I became. Because it wasn't performing to get your attention. It wasn't performing to make you happy.
For anyone else's expectation of you.
This is who I am. And this is what I have to contribute. And I know my value. And that's very different than I need to get my value from you. So I'm going to jump through hoops and say what you need me to say. And it's actually not going to help you at all.
And that becomes attractive to people because what you're doing in that process is you're building your confidence in who you are.
Yeah. Well, and think about what confidence really is. It's a state. Confidence, again, we've taught it so backwards. I had to literally redefine everything in my mind because, even part of it was like confidence was always taught from a male perspective, right? And so confidence from a female perspective is very different. And confidence lived and tasted and experienced is, again, something that's really difficult to put words to. But when you're your most confident, like the thing that blew my mind open was when I was at my most confident, I became the most loving, the least judgmental. Like comparison wasn't a thing. I was the most curious. I worked my butt off to constantly stay in that state because that's us seeing truly. Minimizing ourselves or minimizing others is not you being true and authentic. I hate to break it to you, everyone who loves that word so much and misuses it. Authenticity is not judgmental. It's aware with integrity. And so when a person is at their best, they give their best. When a person is most confident, it's just like tainted with the idea of arrogance, right? We got to start separating these concepts and purifying what these actually mean and what it actually looks like in a life, right? Being arrogant is going to feel very different than being confident. You're confident here. I'm confident here. And we have a person, a heart, a population, a woman in mind that we're wanting to pour this goodness that we found into, right? Not because we're ever going to see her face or know her name. She's not clapping for us right now. Maybe she is, right? But that's the difference in arrogance and confidence. That's the difference in service and contribution, right? What are we giving our time to right now? This. Right? And just keep it always that simple. This. I'm giving all of me right here, right now. All of it is to this. And that's a beautiful life. If that's your meal, if that's your work, if that's your loved one, if that's your play, if that's all of it, right? Even like the science of washing dishes. It sucks that we have to know this. That repetitive, low profile movement is beneficial to a woman. Right? Not her rushing through it and being demanded and being demeaned and put down in housework. And no, but her in a setting where she could go be in the sun, have her flowers beside her. They're just like, what is happening here? Just like what I felt in that poet's presence. Why is it so rich? And I feel like a movie set has come and dropped on top of me and everything is warm and the smells smell better and the light is beautiful. Like, what is happening? He was in his body. Not as a performance. Nobody saw him. Nobody was on that corner except for me. And I had no flipping idea.
Yeah, think about how differently that would have been if you knew who he was.
Well, he probably would have been repelled by it because of the energy of that person. Like, I don't like when you meet masters of their craft, like it's almost icky for them if you recognize them. The good ones, right? Or not good.
Well, then they're putting on their, their performance or they're putting their guard up.
Because think about you, like think about the one part of your life where it's your art. And like the thing that I find too, or the one thing that you're known for, right? The part of me that's a doctor, I feel like she's the least interesting part of me. But she's been the most helpful and the most successful, but in my heart of hearts, and I think that that's even for women entrepreneurs too, is like, we know that. Like you're accessing the least delicious part, but there's so much more, right? Yes. And so I think there's gotta be a way, and I really think women are gonna find a way to where it's like, my medicine is delicious because of who I had to become to access it. So for the medicine to be delicious in your life, you are going to have to not take just the bare bones of it. I give the bare bones of it so you can kind of have a map. But to know that for you to enjoy a trip is not just you paying attention to the map, but you enjoying the places along it, right? Yeah. Did you enjoy the walk? Did you find a new coffee shop? Well, you didn't say go to the coffee shop. You didn't go to the coffee shop, right? No, I need you to almost want to forget about the map.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think everyone's given healers and all that kind of a bad rap. I think it's actually the pollution of people that were not healers, performing and masquerading and manipulating people into thinking that they were through performative ways. But I think that the healers, if you're a person in the arts of healing or creating something that can weave life back into people, please know that you're not the pollution. Please don't shrink, don't stop, don't minimize, don't think that you had to know everything to keep going, because the people that start backing off are the ones that need to turn up the volume.
All these messages that Jamie needs to hear today.
People that can see and the people that can hear will see and they will hear. And you don't, like, there was a time where I was just overwhelmed by what we see happening. And just like disheartened by fake goodness being used as manipulation. But then I was just thinking, like all things, pollution doesn't mean that the good isn't there, right? You're just going to have to increase your capacity to extract it, select for it. Does that make a greater human or a weaker human? It makes a greater human. And who are they going to have to go learn from? The people that have been seeing it the whole time. The people that they can look at something and know that it is fake and performance. That's who they're going to have to be like, teach us that. And we're the ones that are like, how difficult is it to put feelings into words and then give, like, that's why, like, if somebody really knows their stuff and you're like, okay, how do you do it? They literally go into like a pause paralysis of like, oh my gosh, there's so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to simplify it, but my brain is exploding because it's like, well, decades of lots of stuff, right?
Figuring it of probably, trial and error and
just making it
falling on your ass. And
honoring where you have been planted. Don't turn away from it. I always just say, like, use your strength in the right direction. Use your curiosity in the right direction. Use your integrity in the right direction. We're using these things against us because everyone's like, well, I don't think I'm strong enough to tell myself the truth. Oh, I guarantee you are, because you have had to have the strength to keep your truth silenced in the presence of somebody else lying and benefiting from it. The amount of strength it takes to tell the truth is actually smaller than the amount of strength it takes to constantly swallow it.
Yes.
And you just don't know it because you haven't done it yet. But when you start telling the truth, like every time I would work with people and they would start telling the truth, they become lighter and lighter and more youthful and more youthful and more energetic and more energetic. Why? You're not having to use all your physiological energy to compensate from everything that's happening in your body when you lie, suppress, hide, ignore, like pretending like there's not a bear in the room is more physiologically demanding than acknowledging there's a bear and running away from it. Facts, truth.
Yes.
And most of us are pretending there's not a bear in the room and then supplementing ourselves into like just submission. No, you're fine. You're not anxious. We got to be positive. We got to be stronger. You've got to improve your self-concept. And your body's like, for the love of all things, there is a bear in the room. Please leave the room. You're like, oh. And then when you leave the room, exactly what you said earlier, which was brilliant, everything else becomes unnecessary. Why? The truth makes a bunch of right answers unnecessary. So exactly what you said is exactly the truth. So exactly what you said right there, apply it to vitamin C, peptides, organic, paleo, vegan, fruitarian, breatharian, hydrogen water,
the hyperbaric oxygen chamber that's hiding behind me.
Yeah. But then get playful. If it matters to you, if it matters to your mind, call a spade and keep it. Don't serve it. Let it serve you. If you learned about water and now you have a structured water thing, you get your water from the springs and the Alps, and do it. Because now I just want you to think literally like, and again, we overuse it, but it's the simplest way. Like, think of yourself as like royalty. And instead of being like, I have to eat organic and be like, no, only the best.
Mm-hmm.
Only the best for me. Right? Mothers generally do this for their children, but then they leave themselves out of the equation. And you're more of the environment than the kid's environment. You just don't know it. So include yourself and be only the best for her. Only the best outfit today. Only the best food. Only the best environment. Only the softest sheets. Only the most beautiful smelling thing. Only why? I love her, right? If you love somebody, you want to give them the best. We talk about self-love and we manipulate. That's why it's so sad, because that's all we know. But to know it in another, we'd have to start experiencing it in ourselves. So what is love? I want you to have the best. Well, it's a little bit more expensive and it's I want her to have the best. In a relationship, if your partner, what would communicate love to you? Him skipping every corner and getting you the cheapest thing and not doing it, just doing enough to get by, and you'd be like, ick. What is an actual demonstration? Somebody that just talks and talks and talks and never shows up? Also, no.
Action.
Somebody that maybe talks some, it's meaningful when they do, but they show up and they give you the best. And sometimes their best isn't what the rich and famous have to offer, but to them, it's the best that they've got. And you would have the capacity to see it, right? And receive it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you trust that, right? So back it up one level, you with you. You know yourself better than anybody outside you ever could. What makes you feel loved? What makes you feel validated? What makes you feel confident? What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel sexy? What makes you feel curious and intriguing? Spend some time there. And then what makes you feel loved? And then this is the one that's just going to destroy everything that the health and wellness industry is teaching. Imagine going to somebody you loved and saying, I need you to get up and work out. I need you to go get out in the sun. I need you to go eat this. I don't eat that. And I need you to go be here, and you're not going to talk to them, and you're not going to think about that. And you're going to go do this. And now you have to do this. And please sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Please go to sleep. Oh, you're not going to sleep. Think about it. You'd be like, if this is love, I don't want it.
Stop pressing.
If this is love, I don't want it. What would love be? Not, I'm just going to give her alcohol and knock her out. No, it'd be like, hey, what's on your mind? Why aren't you sleeping tonight?
Gentle.
Did something happen?
Compassionate.
And you're like, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, that's fine. I'll just sit here. And then what? If they really loved and they really cared, they'd come back and be like, hey, last night, you know when it was hard for you to fall asleep? What was that? And maybe you're distracted sewing or painting or listening to music, and you accidentally just tell the truth, and you're like, he said something at dinner, it made me think of this, and I felt this. And then you're just like, oh shit, okay. Do we want to do anything with that? Not like, you idiot, that's wrong and that's pessimistic, and we talked about having negative beliefs and thought patterns. No, stop.
Yeah.
Do we want to do anything, or do we want to keep it? Actually, I don't want to keep it because it actually felt awful. Okay, so we don't need to change him. Is there anything in you that we could change? I could think that I was a person of value, and so that maybe he didn't mean that, and then I would have received something differently. Interesting. So your value is at stake. Of course, that would keep you up at night. How do we tell you that you have value? And then find the answer. I won't even lead you there, because everyone's going to think, get him to tell you something. Nope. You to you, how would you tell you that you're valuable? Through actions, not words. Well, how would you have to live a day to say, hey, Jamie, Cassie, you're valuable? Oh, yeah. Am I? Yeah, I wrote it all over your mirror. Would you read the mirror, for the love of all things? Like, no, how would you show her? If somebody's valuable to you, what do you do for them?
You support them. You love them. You help them. You listen to them.
Mm-hmm. And when you listen to them and they say something that you're like, oh, I read a book about that and you're wrong, what do you correct them? If they're having a hard time, if they're not sleeping, are you mad at them?
No.
What do you do?
Try to help them, get to the root of why that might be.
And your first
maybe offer
question,
some insight.
your first question as women generally is, are you okay?
Are you okay? Yeah.
And then when we know they're not okay, what do we say again? Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah.
And then if we can tell they don't want to talk, we what? Stay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start working on our stuff so that we don't, right?
Yeah.
You already have all the therapy, all the insights, and that's why it is you with you. Because like, think about how, as most of us here probably are sensitive, highly intellectual types, you just have to think about how you do it for others. That's how you're wanting it done for you. And then once you fill that up for you, you're not pleading with people and begging people to give you something they don't know how to give you, right? And then we enter into actual true relationships. Most of us aren't, we only get little glimpses of what relating actually is, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so, and we're deficient in connection. We're very quote unquote connected people that are deficient in true connection, because you cannot connect with somebody that you think that you know, that you think that you understand, and that you have no curiosity for. You're not in it. That's not a relationship, even if it's with your parents. The second you think you know, you're no longer connected. And so that's why we feel so much more connected with, Susan that we met last Thursday, that she just gets us more than somebody that's been way closer to us. Because you have to actually have an advanced mind to still have curiosity, compassion, wonder in the direction of another person. But we don't even practice that with ourselves, because we're like, I know who I am. No,
Right.
you don't. I swear
Right.
you don't. Because the second you met you, it's like when you really get there, and it's a blinking thing. Don't think it's a perpetual state thing. That was one of my things, is I thought once I got there, I would stay there, like in this like iridescent bubble. It's a blinking, and you got to work your butt off to keep blinking back into that state of like, no, you're going against decades of brainwashing. And when you realize that all of your emotions come from predictions from your brain, and why is all of this work so hard? You are going against generational programming. And you like, without getting education on how to program, getting misinformed on how to program is even better.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just this beautiful thing. Like, we went out into the cosmic world, but the cosmic world touches the simplicity. And so just think about everything you already know, how to rearrange it, how to romanticize it. And then always have some anchor point to draw yourself back. And you never draw yourself back with complexity. It always has to be simplicity. Pull it back. Like, I always just tell myself, make it make sense, clean it up, and then we proceed.
Yeah. Oh, making it sound just like it can be easy. And I think something that's like a word that's been circulating in my mind as you've been talking is permission.
Mm-hmm.
Giving myself or whoever, giving themselves permission
Well, and
to
I would
live.
even encourage you to remove the power of that word.
Mm-hmm.
Permission to me is like this Trojan horse, if you will. It was never something that was even possible to give away. It was just taken, right? But permission is this kind of softer word to really cover the fact that it was horrifically torn from you, forced out of your hands, right? But to give somebody permission, it was one of the things I really had to unravel. They had to make you think that you needed their permission. Even if you try to go into the depths of it, trying to give yourself permission, it's like playing ping pong with yourself. It's like, it's always like, I don't know, do you feel another word maybe coming up to hold the place of where they've put permission? It's not give yourself permission, it's take up your rightful powers.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you could fly, but you never could fly unless somebody, quote unquote, more wise or stronger than you told you that you could. That's asking for, can I go fly? Master, can I go fly? Yes, you may, child. That's a mind control tactic. Who is to tell a person that can fly when they can go fly? You're not asking for permission. You're using your power. So to me, it has this because I spent my whole life asking for permission. And then not knowing how to give myself the permission. It's like, well, you're giving yourself something you could never take away. That's why you're so freaking confused.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
start playing with your power.
Putting it that way.
Yeah. If you can fly, go freaking fly. And what you're going to have to develop is the capacity to handle what it feels like when you're flying, when somebody doesn't want you to fly. A different set of skills, right? That's your emotions, your mind, you're becoming a free human. A free human is not a human that has to ask for permission even from themselves. The best way probably is to put it on a more subtle human skill. Like, do you give yourself permission to walk?
No, you just do it.
You walk when you need to walk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how to start flipping these things. But do you see how these paradigms and the programming run so deep that so many people are asking for permission? My love, you will never get it. Do you see how we're asking the wrong questions to the infinite? It's sitting there like, can I have permission to fly? Can I have permission to fly? And like the infinite's like, I wouldn't have given you the ability if you didn't have the permission built in with it. So you have to have the self-sovereignty and the wisdom to not go fly into an airplane. So if we think of it in a different way, don't ask for permission. Go figure out why you think you need it, or what it is you're actually needing. Like the courage to handle conflicts when you're a different version of you that doesn't ask for permission. Because think about that. Even if we just put you, a version of you, she asked for permission to choose herself, to choose her life, to wear what she wants to wear, to speak what she believes, to walk away when something does not feel good to her for no other reason than it doesn't feel good to her. Okay, that's version 1. Version 2, she will feel when things are not good for her, and she will ask for permission if she can leave. She will only leave if she's given permission. I mean, even the amount of words that it takes. Think about the energy your body would have to utilize. So how do you become, instead of being version B that we're not even going to give airtime to, how would you have version B transform into version A? Give her permission. That's the trap. How would you give the version of Jamie that needs permission? How would you make her be the version that doesn't need permission? Not by giving her permission. You keep her trapped in the same cycle because she's saying, I need permission from you. And you're looking, who? She needs permission from you, I think. Who are you? I have no idea. But who's going to give it? Somebody. The cat. Get the cat. The cat will give her permission, right? She's in the trap. That's exactly, you've actually pulled something out of life here that is the exact trap of so many of these things. So how would you get her from that version that needs permission to a version that didn't? You know what life would, if the infinite were wanting to help her out, life would probably put her in a position where she always asked for permission, and it would put a burning in her heart and soul that this does not feel good. I need to leave. And instead of asking for permission, she's going to have to fight everything in her physiology because she's written it into her mind and her emotions and her patterns that she's going to have to leave in spite how she feels. And it's going to burn and it's going to hurt and it's going to be just terrifying. And then she's going to take 3 steps on the other side of not getting permission, have chaos behind her, and she's going to feel oxygen in her lungs, and that actually she's not going to die. It gets a lot better, but she will not get to access that without having a moment in life that says your options right now, Jamie, are to either wait for permission, gaslight yourself into thinking that you need your own permission. They're still winning. You're still in the same loop, just with a different leader, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to rage against everything that's ever put you in a prison in this moment and risk being terrified in a direction that changes your life. And when you take that step, that was a prescription to free her forever from ever thinking that she has to. That doesn't mean you're like now bench pressing 300. You just started picking up a 5-pound weight.
Mm.
And so there will be another opportunity. Can I speak about my truth? Can I change my profession? Can I move? Anytime it's like that, it's like, what would that tell you? Change your profession, move, tell the truth.
Yeah.
So even let's put that on healing real quick. Can I heal this tumor? Can I heal this autoimmune condition? Can I? Not if you're still asking that question. Take the step, and then you have your answer. You are your answer. You become the watch me instead of watching.
May I?
May I? Can I? Show me how. Do you see? You have this has brought up such a powerful point. Do you see where we're at in society? Teach me, show me. How do I do it? How can I do it? Tell me the steps. Help.
Right.
Help.
I need the right doctor. I need a different doctor.
Yeah. We're in it, but we weren't improving it.
Mm-hmm.
We were just a better, more well-intending version of it. It's still asking exactly what you've brought up. It's still asking for permission. Can I heal?
Mm-hmm.
If I do this, can I? If I do this, can I? It's like, put it on something again, very different. If I dance for you, can I get your love? If I perform for you, can I get your grace? But put it on like the divine, even greater. When we put it on like a relationship, especially a male-female, you get when I said that, did you get a little bit of ick inside you?
Mm-hmm.
If I look perfectly enough and young enough, will you adore me?
Yeah.
I hope that now you're to a version of you that's like step and step fast.
Mm-hmm.
Step with everything you've got and know that it's going to feel like going into a storm because it is the storm. But it's been the storm you've been running away from. And the second, like do the buffalo thing. When you turn into the storm, you get out of it quicker. And that's the whole point. Instead of being like in a mentality of can I, when it flips in you that like, that's the trap. Now you're you're no longer following their formula. And you're playing by a totally different set of rules. And it's where the cause gives you the effect. It's easy. It snowballs in the other direction. So what I always like to tell myself, and I feel like it fits perfectly here, is you are already uncomfortable, but you are deluding yourself thinking that you are avoiding discomfort. And you have to make a promise to yourself to get uncomfortable in a direction that changes your life. You don't get a version where you're not uncomfortable, but I hope your discomfort doesn't suffocate you. I hope it thrills you. I hope it excites you. I hope it creates the coolest stories. I hope it makes you meet the most amazing people. I hope that it is the movie you've always wanted to watch. Instead of being like, why is that leading lady character in a closet?
Yeah. Just open the door.
He doesn't want to get uncomfortable. Prince Charming's out in the lawn and she will never see him. Right? And when you simplify that, put a little sense of humor on it and put a lot of your power, you're using your power in the wrong direction. That was the thing I saw the most, especially with women. They're like, I don't think I'm strong enough to do it. I'm like, you're so strong, you're not doing it.
Yeah. And you're right. It takes a lot more energy to stay quiet or stay stationary or stay thinking that you need somebody else to tell you what to do or how to get to the next step.
And think about like kind of back towards the beginning of the conversation, how freedom was like, I just want to be free. And if you talk to a 13-year-old girl and just simply take it to her and say like, hey, is freedom me always telling you what to do, or is freedom you figuring it out? What would she tell you?
Figuring it out
it doesn't
as I go.
make sense to say I'm free, but you're going to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about your intelligence. Everything in this universe is created out of intelligence. When you are not acting intelligently, the intelligence in you is revolting. Like your natural state is intelligence. The natural, most basic primal part of you doesn't stick its hand in fires, doesn't go hug wolves. I mean, it's intelligent. It's when we think that our intellect and all of this stuff we think we know is the part of us that's intelligent. We're somehow greater than. Now do you see why it's like the snake biting its own tail? It's like, just stop. You're gagging yourself. If you would just stop, you could slither away, you little crazy person. Right? And do it with love and grace. And humor always helped me, because everything is heavy and everything has pain and even discomfort, and leaving behind, a version of you. There's a reason. I wrote it in my journal a while back. Like, there's a reason people don't just fall into this, because every version, like, change is loss, right? So to change, you lose something that you had. But what we don't understand is we're always losing, right? Every single day, there's so many things we're not paying attention to that you're changing every single breath. So it feels so much better to be in control, and control is an interesting word too, but to be part of the conversation of the direction of change, and understanding that you will lose people. You might actually lose people you never thought you were going to lose because of the version of you that you become. But you've got to know that no matter what, you're going to lose people. No matter what, your heart is going to break. No matter what, like, this whole thing ends. And then the flip side of that is, no matter what, beautiful people will be in your life. No matter what, unbelievable experiences will happen. Love beyond your wildest dreams is also here. You can't get mad when you experience the other. And you can't think that that's the only thing that exists. And so it's got to be, this way of thinking and living is actually the most rational and practical way. It's so funny to me when people like come and tell me that I'm too woo-woo. I am so freaking practical and rational. You would not believe it, but that's the beauty of the world we're in, that the rational and the practical and the unknown is working in your favor. And it's more magnificent and benevolent and beautiful than you would ever understand. And part of the freedom that life gives you, and if you want to call it God or the universe or spirit or whatever, is an unconditional yes. I want this. Yes. I want to be happy, but not financially secure. Yes. I want to be secure, but emotionally drained. Yes. Or you can say, I want, with the utmost integrity, the best that life has to offer, and to experience all of it, and to do the best with what I've been given. Like what you've been given right now. How would we finish this day and experience the most? Like, would you wear that? Like, if this is the last thing that you wear, is that what you would wear? Is that the meal you would choose? Is that the person you would spend your time talking to? That's the music you would listen to. How many of you, if we got really honest, would spend your last few hours listening to how to heal your body, how to eat a supplement, how to not gag on a whole handful of supplements? Would you spend your last hour? Oh my, and can you imagine what your body is experiencing? Imagine your body as a little kid that is having to sit through the most boring movies ever. And it's like, oh my gosh, we got free from our parents, and you are making me listen to this on just repeat. And we're not swimming, we are not surfing, we are not playing with that funny little kitty. We are meeting cool people. I haven't got to ride my bike. I grew up and I said I was going to never wear what they were going to. And now you're dressing kind of like a man, and it's very boring. And think about it. Like, if you just made good on all the promises you made to the younger version of yourself, on all the I will never. You are doing it, everything, and your body is showing you. So think of your body as a kid sitting there being like, we're watching another YouTube video on how to heal my skin. My skin wants to go play.
Yeah.
You, captain of this ship. My skin wants to go touch a kitty. Anything. My skin would like to do anything other than sit here and watch this. Think about it. And then the irony of the world you live in is if you actually listened to that part of you that wants to do everything except for learn how to heal, you would heal. That was the ultimate, like, well, I'm pretty worthless as a doctor, but that was fun.
But I actually think you're very valuable right now because we're so trained. We are so, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Like I'm so trained to like, whatever, be the good girl, do the thing that I thought the list could go on and on and on. And these really simple examples, especially like using the 13-year-old version of yourself, it's just like
the 13-year-old version of yourself, or whatever version of you that was the most sassy, the most make it make sense, no version, she will heal your body quicker than any physician can. She will heal your mind and your emotions and your relationships quicker than any therapist, any expert ever freaking could. But what is hard is following her lead. Why? Because I at least feel safe in this relationship. I feel safe in this job. She doesn't give a flying F about safety.
Yeah.
She cares about how she feels, and she doesn't feel good. Like, have you ever watched a little girl? I have a beautiful little niece too. And she is so sassy. She is a master class in what it is to be alive. She could not care less if you like her dress, her hair, her rain boots. She does not care.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't feel good, and my sister's an amazing, amazing mother too. If she doesn't feel good and she doesn't like you and she doesn't know you, and they're like, go hug Uncle Ted. She's just like, no.
Nope.
It feels weird. And I'm like, hell yeah. That's exactly what I didn't get to say when I was 8 and she is 5. And then you're sitting there like, exactly. And every single time I hugged somebody I didn't feel comfortable with, that developed into the version of me that stayed with a narcissistic type presentation of a human being personality longer than I ever should. Because it was like, I feel this way. Oh, but let's think your way out of it. Right. Yeah. And now we've done that so much that we can't feel the truth in our bodies because so much is programmed by our improper thinking that was developed by a very controlled way of living. So now it's, again, they had to program it into where we self-govern, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because all of those experiences started creating the programs within you. What does a program do? Like when I teach the mind, I just try to make it as simple as possible. The program is there to where you're not supposed to think outside of it. It's efficient, right? It just keeps going. How do you upgrade the program? You would have to have an experience where that little girl stood in front of weirdo Uncle Ted and said, no, and literally ran off. I'm like, well, you're going to get spankings. Spank me.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, as you're saying that, it's like, I have a 4-year-old niece who's probably just as sassy as you. There's no filter on their truth.
Yeah. So if we compare that and the wisdom that you have, if you and her could come together, she has something you need, you have something she needs. It's wisdom and wildness. That's nature. Nature is not just reckless and wild and I'm going to do whatever I want to do because I can do it and F the world. No, that's reckless. Nature is wise and wild. And it's like we throw out the wisdom and we just go wild because we kind of want to revolt. And it's like, okay, if we're really going to study nature, nature is very freaking wise, you little wild ones. So pair the wild with wisdom, and then you are freaking playing the game. And then when you're playing the game, you start being part of the creation, right? If you can't regulate your own emotions, if you can't change a pattern of thinking, you got to work right here. And then when you are in that literal state, the natural next step is that entry point of, okay, if I can make a substance that has an effect, not have an effect, and I can make something that doesn't have an effect, have an effect. how can I do that in a life? Now you're playing, but it's like trying to go play pro basketball and you never did little dribblers, right? You didn't ever pick up a basketball as a child and you're like, why can't I play? It's like, sweetie, we got to start. Do you know what dribbling is? No, dribbling. Oh gosh, we got a lot to do. And then we like judge ourselves and be like, I don't know why I can't manipulate the quantum world and manifest my reality and change my body without any compounds. And have you dribbled? Well, then don't expect shoot for the stars always, but don't you dare get mad that you didn't make the basket. Right? Just be like, let's go figure out how to get there quicker than most. That's a different way, but we've got to you live in a world of both. And once you master one, then you get to start attempting to master the other. But we try to find the shortcut out and be like, no, my emotions can be changed on a dime depending on who walks in the room. If somebody gives me a bad look, if somebody thumbs down something, or if somebody coughs when I was on point on my joke, I'm like, and we're gonna go straight to manifesting and quantum realization. And I'm never going to say you can't, but it's going to be so much easier if you do what you actually can tangibly. That's why I always say, just remove the variables, take care of your body, follow the rules, do what the body needs to be the best version of the body. And then let's play. Because then it does get really cool. Like human optimization isn't that how many devices can we put in your house and how much of your day can you spend underneath them to not age. Human optimization is how do we get you to a point where you're not focused on healing, and now we get to push and experience and see what a human can do. But we're not even there. Even what I see out there as human optimization is how can we manipulate the tissues to either look how we want, show up on a objective blood test how we want, or it's like an optimized human would not even remotely be interested in hearing a conversation about healing. Zero interest. True. They would not freaking care. They would be so bored. Like, your salad what? With the olive oil and the what? Right. No, I'm going to go. So let's push for that. Let's try to get to a place where we're so bored with how to heal our body, because we live in a way and we are so in tune with the truth that our body's already healing. Even the doctors aren't the ones healing you. Some people are put in your path as surgeons or trauma experts, like traumatic injuries and stuff. And we can use modern medicine to give the body a better shot at saving your life. But that's not the same thing as another human doing it. The same physician, the same surgery team. I was in there. Same everything, same lighting, same surgical table. And a person with a smaller injury would pass away. There's more to it than saying the doctor saves your life. The doctor does what he's there to do and gives your body a better opportunity if there's a traumatic injury, right? And then your body is all, if you are going to survive, the only thing that has a say is your body. And if we put things in perspective, just with the truth, like I had to ask so many uncomfortable questions. Why didn't any of the people I was asking these questions to want to give me the answers? Because they didn't want to acknowledge the truth or even hear the truth, because we weren't as important. And you work your butt off and you spend your life savings and you go do all of this stuff to be somebody that can quote unquote save a life or heal a body, just to ask 3 questions deep on the level of an 8th grade education and find out that it really has less to do with you than you ever imagined. And you have no access into the truth of what a life is. Right. And so then it's like, well, then doctors would be knocked off the pedestal. All of their tools would be even less intriguing. And you would have to put value back where value is at. And that's within the hands of the individual, how they live their life, how they experience, how they perceive, what they say yes to, what they spend their time on, what they say no to, how they let things impact them. And we're in a society right now that's exactly backwards. So if you're going to fight it, you have to fight it by living the most magnificent life, using everything in your capacity to your advantage. And when you do it to your advantage in a true way, you can't help but help others. That's just how it works. It's contribution. It's like Imagine if your kidneys were like, no, we're just going to be selfish kidney cells and we're not going to help out the intestinal cells.
Right.
Good luck. That's not how that works. The kidney cells being the best kidney cells make the intestinal cells have more nutrients and have a better stop. Like, so if you want to think about it like that, I always like to jump to something that we're like, yeah, improving the kidneys improves the heart, improves the blood, improves the muscles, improves the skin, improves the intestines, improves the liver, improves the pancreas. Yeah. You being the best you doesn't improve somebody else's life. You sacrificing does. You depleting you does. Does it make sense? It doesn't. So it's not as virtuous as you were taught. So you have to rage against virtue, false virtue, in the pursuit of truth. Oh, you're being so selfish now. You're not being who. You're right. And there will be a day where it will all make sense to you why I am. Because me being the best kidney cell that I can be actually gives more to you than me depleting me ever could. Take it literal, and it'll always reflect back spiritual. Like, that's the beauty of everything. That everyone would come to these conclusions. Truth is truth is truth, even if you don't believe in it. That's the gift. You don't even have to believe in the truth, and it still is benefiting you. You don't have to believe that the body always heals and that everything's for you, and it still will do it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing a video that you shared that was like so simple. It's like if you get a cut on your finger, your body knows exactly what it needs to do to heal that. And it's like, it's so simple.
Well, and let's do an experiment right now. Imagine you had a cut on your finger. Be a complete asshole. Is it going to stop healing? You could get down to the tiny, tiny things and be like, oh, there was more stress hormones or blah. No, it's still going to heal. Right?
Right.
And then on the other side, be as positive as you can be and try to heal that faster with your mind right now. Heal it. Go. Heal. Go. Heal fast. Stop. Come on. Heal faster. Try harder. Is it going to speed it up? No, you're actually at that point, if you're stressed out about trying harder, you're going to slow the healing because of the stress.
Word. I mean, I can't tell you
And that's
how many times in this almost year that I'm like, oh, like my body's still in pain. Well, you know what? They took a lot of collateral when they did the surgery.
Yeah.
So like, my body's doing my best, and I've recovered tenfold from almost a year ago.
Yeah. Well,
So instead of beating myself up, love and appreciate all that it's done.
Yeah. And then think about what it actually needs. Go back to the flu. So a lot of times what I saw with people is people are pushing through things because they're not as visible. So imagine your pain was a very mucus, wet cough. Would you be more likely to stay home and stay in bed? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And you would feel less like you needed to prove yourself to your partner, your family, your coworkers, your clients. Why? Look, I'm coughing. Look how I can barely even talk.
Right.
But when we have things that can't be seen or heard on the surface, we guilt ourselves into not doing what we need to take care of ourselves.
That is very true.
And so many women, what I saw was they felt they had to prove their pathology for sympathy or even for basic understanding. And what actually needs to be developed is only you know how bad you feel. Only you know the pain. Like, you don't see somebody that's in chronic pain. You don't see what they're feeling. And somebody that's never experienced chronic pain has no idea. Like, just think about when you slam your finger in the door and that intense pain. Emotionally regulate. I need you to emotionally regulate right now. Quit jumping to conclusions in your relationship. I need you to feel beautiful and powerful. Stop. You literally cannot access. Physiologically, your body will not let you access emotional regulation unless you were the one rare human that came into the world and had parents instill that before 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Not mine.
Right? And so we've got to be very practical, even with this. And so no one knows the pain that you're in, and it's not their job to know it. It's your job to have the emotional capacity, the resilience, the self-worth, the self-trust, the trust in life and the trust in others to say, hey, actually, because you're already uncomfortable. If you're in pain, working through pain, you're uncomfortable. So what if we were uncomfortable in another direction and said, actually, and don't even, the second you start trying to put a disclaimer on why, there's still places that you can fortify a little bit better to say, I'm hurting and I need rest. Or even, I need rest. Period. And internally inside you, I am not going to feel guilty for needing it. I'm not going to feel weak for needing it. I'm not going to jump to trying to prove and make somebody see an external demonstration of how bad I feel. Because that's part of the emotional healing. I call it the emotional gym. All of my little things have gyms. Because we often think of gyms like you're going to get sweaty, it's ugly, it's nasty, it's not fun, it's a lot of work. Have an emotional gym. Have a mental gym. I had my patients, this is your mind gym. This is your emotional gym. And so part of the gym in this situation, your gym is how do we make you feel okay asking for what you need? Not how can they make you feel okay? If you don't have access to anybody other than you, how do we make you feel okay asking for what you need? And guess what? It's going to push on every negative program, every time you had to people please. Naturally, life will naturally walk you through your traumas if you're in life. Never too soon and never too late. To try to go excavate them is just going to make a mess. But in these little moments where you're in pain, you and I would understand the depths of why you need it, tissue repair, all the things. The pathology is thinking that you have to prove it to somebody in order for you to get your needs met. The prescription is to ask for what you need, take care of yourself, manage the guilt, the shame, the judgment, the whatever that comes up, handle how it feels if it creates a conflict, or receive the grace and the love that's given that you didn't even know you needed because you never put yourself in a position to receive it.
Oh, that's big.
And then life will gradually undo these, but you have to be committed to being in life. And life, it wants to pull these things from you. It wants to show you the places that you're not free. Because think about it. If you're all part of this, we all say we're part of the whole. We're all one. A drop in the ocean, right? Okay, we'll put that here. What does that mean? If the universe knows that Jamie is hurting and tired, if you're in a body that says you're a part of me, then it's going to let you rest. So think about the cancer cell analogy. A cancer cell, which is just a healthy cell not thinking truly, right? Thinks that it doesn't have access to the whole. It's an island. It's isolated. So how would you prove to that little cell that you have everything, right? How would you prove you would have to have an uncomfortable situation that pushes you to the point of, I need to rest and nobody can see why I need it. And you're going to have to go through the discomfort of everything that happens and every reason why you were afraid of asking for it and all the judgments. You're going to have to go through it.
Yeah.
And so we're afraid of opening these doors, not understanding that opening the door and walking through them is the prescription that we need, right? So just like in the story earlier, we didn't need the record player when it comes to actually what was going on in my heart, my mind, my emotions, his heart, mind, emotions. And then our new friend has his own story of why all of this was needed for all of us, right? The record player wasn't the point.
Right.
But the record player was the point of matter that got everything into movement. So if you were a metaphoric universe, story-based, how would you get this whole scenario synchronized? This young couple needs a record player. They want vintage. We're going to match that with a man that knows everything about vintage record players and sound systems. And wouldn't that be a cooler way of doing medicine than this woman needs to go sit in silence and meditate till her eyelashes fall out and find the divine in oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why do we like story? Because story changes us. Story is alive. Most people aren't experiencing their stories because they're too afraid to be the character that might get scared, might get hurt. So you're living in a book that's just like no writing on pages. You stopped the writing, and you're just like sitting there, and it's there. Put more writing on the pages, right? Because the living of life that you're so afraid of, that's going to hurt you because life broke your heart. Well, just like in a movie, it's not just like break her heart again, break her heart again. One more time for the people in the front. Let's break her heart again. Like sometimes it feels like that, but it's more like she still needs to see something. She still needs to learn something. She loves love, so nothing will capture her mind, will, and emotions like this. We don't hate her, we love her. And if you view it from that perspective, you're like...
You saying that about just like filling up the pages and even thinking about it like a movie, you're not going to continue to hit the pain points over and over again. I do feel like the experience that I just lived over the last 2 years is so loud in my mind. And now there are so many things that we realize that we want to make changes on in our life. And that I feel myself sticking my feet in the sand and like sticking myself in the mud, nervous to make that change because I think I am anticipating some hurt on the other side of those changes.
Yeah. Well, and let's just put a reality moment, because like this is so human. This is what's valuable. The reality moment is, you're right. There's going to be parts of this process of change. There's going to be hurts. But you wouldn't be drawn towards it if it didn't have something greater to offer you than any of the hurt could take from you. And I think that's the thing that always gets in our way, is you don't want to gaslight yourself and be like, no, nothing's going to go wrong. That's not exactly true. What's a more true version? Even the things that go wrong are going to have something of unbelievable value to you.
Yes.
If you are willing to be there, not if you're white knuckling, pushing your heels into the sand saying, no, let's go. Yeah, no, this is fun. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to cover my eyes and end up on the other side, right? No, if you have that playful, like the way that I always imagined it, because I have restarted myself so many times that I think the people that love me the most are starting to be concerned. I'm like, no, y'all, I'm good. Like, I know it doesn't seem like that, because it's like, okay, one version of you was married, one version of you was a traditional doctor, and like, we don't even know what you were up to or what you could come home telling us you're going to do, right? But that's being very alive.
Yes.
And the former version of me, she was so predictable because she was so terrified, right? And so this new version, and like the amount of work it takes to get yourself out of that shackles. I never really watched movies, but I would read books, and like different poets, when I would go and learn about their life, like their life was so full and so this, and then she fell in love with him, and then they went to Spain, and I loved reading about it. So imagine reading about that, and then imagine going and reading about, I don't want to pick a wrong name just in case somebody's listening, but another woman, and she stayed in her house on that little street, and she did her garden. She had a cat, and then the cat died, and her husband would come home, and maybe that's the life that fills you up, and you can always more than fill that with richness, right? That's not the point, but I'm just saying, I think part of being okay with detachment from outcome, not detachment from people, places, things. You know, you want to care. You want to care the most. You want to love the most. You want to get all the oomph out of everything. That's the whole point of it. If I'm not attached to somebody I'm in a relationship with, what the heck am I doing? I don't want to be bored, right? But I want to be detached from, this has to be my end all be all, we're forever together, and it's always...
Yeah.
So that's very different. So I'm very attached to the life I'm living, the pets, the plants, I love my home. I love, like, that's being alive, being just like numb to everything so you don't ever get hurt. I'm sorry, but I don't want that. Ick.
Yeah.
But it's always just like, at the end of the day, knowing your own personality. That's why somebody can't go and do the jet setter life if that's not their personality. Like, you are who you are for a reason. But I always like to kind of push the edges, right? And if there's something I can't pull my attention away from, there's a reason. And we always think that the reason has to be no pain and all pleasure. But if you think about some of, like, what got you to being this version of you, this insightful, this aware, this understanding, all the pleasure?
No.
And then when we say that, we're like, shit.
Yeah.
There's value in it. So it's how can you go through these painful moments in life, and how will you write into yourself what that says about you? Like, that's what changes everything. Because when I was in the car accident, it's like the best example I've ever experienced of what you're going to write about it into your heart, soul, and mind. And when that car accident happened, the person that I thought cared about me didn't even look at me, didn't check on me, didn't check on the other woman, nothing.
Wow.
And so in that moment, like, I'm being pulled out and I'm like observing this and shocked, all of this is happening. And then, like, in retrospect, I would look at it and be like, I wasn't cared about by somebody super close to me. I wasn't, like, you always see movies of, like, even if they didn't care about somebody, then a car accident happens and they show how much they cared.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was in that movie and I was in that car accident, and there was even less care and concern than an average day. And I let it mean something about me until I was like, no, we're going to go back. And we're not going to do that to ourselves. Like, who would do that? Like, a mother wouldn't do that to their child. They wouldn't, like,
Right.
and just be like, there's something that you don't know. There's something you can't see. Quit making what you can't see mean something awful about you. And so if we have the capacity, and anytime you catch yourself, because I guarantee, especially women, go back to all of those places, you know exactly where they are. Go back to the scene, and you either plant something different in her, or you sit with her and say, there's a perspective, there's an angle that you cannot see, and I will not let you make this mean what your limited vision thinks that it means. Either one of those will set you free. That me in that moment, there's something I couldn't see in the person that was with me. It's not my place to judge or call it right or wrong, but it's also not my place to make it mean that I wasn't cared about. I'm not a person that people love. I'm not valuable. I'm not that I could just disappear and nobody would care. Neither one of those are fair. And so the truth actually sets you free. Go back. And the truth is either you don't know the totality of this to come to your conclusion. There's no way. You cannot access another human being. Right?
Right.
And so then it was like the truth set me free. Not to go and be like, no, look, the man that pulled you out of the car thought you were valuable and he cared about you and he sat there and he had water for you. That's not the burn in me. That wasn't the burn in me. Don't paste over it with some other little detail that's not going to change the burn. Go look at the burn and give her a truth. And the truth is exactly that. And that's what so many of us do in our life. We have those car accident moments. You have that moment in your relationship with your family, and it's your responsibility to go back and give it the truth. And so often, the only truth we need to hear is you don't have enough information to be that cruel, pessimistic, or harmful to you. Get yourself freaking together. And let's go. And then that is not this fluffy, no, you're a child of God and you're valuable and go find all the people that find value. Because you're like, it doesn't translate. I was burning because of this moment and everything that's like snuck into me and all the things that actually, when I looked back at it, it was a cosmic surgery. There were things in me that never would have found a way out had it. Because think about, emotions are things leaving you.
Yes.
Me feeling something that corrosive for that long, was it leaving me? It wasn't going into me in that moment. What I was putting into me in that moment was everything I was saying about the situations. This says nothing about you. Nothing.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
You. What's in you, right? Wayne Dyer has that quote, when you squeeze an orange juice comes out. So what was coming out of me was already in me. Feelings of not being valuable, feelings of being abandoned in a time I really, really needed somebody, of always having to be the strong one, of always having to be the one that figures it out, of always having the perfect situation it had to get squeezed out of me in life. You know, now that I look at it, how could life do that quicker. The record player not working, is the car accident, is the breakup, is the job loss, is the loss of the loved one, and you don't know enough of the story to be pessimistic about it. I promise you.
I love that.
And if you see the truth of it, that's when I looked at every pathology. The pathology is the perfection. The pathology is the promise. But we have called it something different. And with our limited amount of understanding, we are so certain in our arrogance that it's all not for us. And I was like, that's what's petty. That's where the correction needs to be made. So if you're going to know something, know that you don't know enough to be pessimistic. And if you want to run a litmus test on that deal, okay, how many days of your life has your body killed you? Did you know that even if you got a paper cut and you couldn't clot, you die in seconds?
Oh.
Do you know how many things have to go right in order to cough, to have constipation, to have acne, to have a tumor, to have an autoimmune? Do you know how much has to go right to have those things happen? You don't know
Not something I ever think about.
You don't know enough to be pessimistic. So anytime I see a pessimistic person now, it's a lack of understanding. And I just hold it with the utmost grace, because what a terrifying world to live in. And so you, where you're at, where all of us are at right now, you've been given a life. And the life is the whole story. There's two versions of me. Well, there's infinite, right? There's one version of me that came out of that car accident and she never recovered emotionally. And she thinks she's not valuable, that love is not safe, that men are awful, that they just lie, all of these things, that life is out to get me. I was a good person and a car accident still happened. Traveling is not good. She's that. Is she wrong? No. Is it true? No. There's another version of me. She's going to go look at everything that led up into that moment, all the times that she heard something and she wished she would have came in and said, actually, no, or we're actually not going to go. Don't talk like that. No. And she's going to go remember all of those times that she wished she would have said something, done something, left, not gone, all of those things. She's going to match that with how right she was, not how wrong. No, you were right, and you were right, and you were right. But you ignored it and you silenced it and you bitched and you got in the car and then I'm also going to go look back and think about all of the magic, how my body, even though all the air was taken out of my lungs, my body fought for my consciousness. My consciousness couldn't fight for it. It wasn't there. So many things happen until you hear yourself gasping for air like a monster. You don't realize how much the body wants you to live more than you do. And so then I go back and I gather again, go gather what is worth taking home with you. Think about that. Women didn't go gather and go pick up the feces of the animals. What did she go gather? Fruit, berries, things that you were going to use. Go back in your past, gather what is valuable, bring it forward. There's something valuable there. And every time if I go back, I go gather something of more value. And then at some point, you need to stop going back.
Yeah.
There's nothing there for you. Take what you gathered, use it moving forward with the wisdom that you gained. And then what should every trauma do, if we're being honest and true? Every trauma you experience should make you more aware, more in tuned, more strong, more precise, more robust, if you're using it appropriately. Like when you put your muscles through resistance training, they don't become weaker. And so we have to be like, okay, I can't expect for comfort to create the best version of me, practically. So I've got to be uncomfortable. But the cool thing about the world I live in is I get to be uncomfortable in the direction that I choose. Things are going to happen, but you do. I did the experiment, do the 3-day experiment. Let me know how it goes. Things happen. It's not that you're going to control things that happen or prevent things from happening, because sometimes a record player breaking, something going bad or wrong, a car accident is the true thing that's going to change you. And if that didn't happen, if the record player, quote unquote, worked and it all went how you thought it should go, you wouldn't have gotten the gift. Whoever designed this place will talk to that, or we'll know, right, when we return, whichever one. But it is what it is now. And so how can you live? Who can you be? And like every single day, the way that I like to do it is, did I do it as beautifully as I could? My integrity. And again, think of spiritual integrity, not law, business, structure, spiritual, meaning you're intentions, your motives, because then it makes things super clear. Then there's no conflict in you, like, but they're going to think that I'm not helping. Well, that's where you've got to strengthen the part in you that doesn't care if people are clapping or booing, but you know what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it and what you're giving. And that is enough. And when you get there, it's like spiritual integrity creates physiological integrity, creates structural integrity, right? And then the side effect is our relationships have integrity. Our communities have integrity. Our businesses and careers, right? If they would even be sustainable, right? Would have integrity. So I hope whoever's listening, I hope you take everything that you've ever learned and make it the most selfish utilization within your spiritual integrity and commit to that hard work, because the return on that investment is something so much greater than working hard at things that don't matter. Isn't it interesting that you and I got on this to talk about medicine, the body, healing, and how somehow we're out in the infinite talking about spiritual things that are very measurable, identifiable, and there's a whole science about it, right? What if you were a person that just got tired of everything? Imagine another version of you. We didn't have this conversation. You got so freaking overwhelmed. You just looked at everything and you're just like, it's not, I don't want it. If this is me, I don't even like me. I don't want it, right? Or you do what I did in my journal one day. She left. Like I literally was contemplating not life transitioning. I did that once before, but this was in a moving to a different country, just being a different, like Dr. Cassie. Do it in an internal way. She left. And it's the most liberating feeling. Because why did I say that? Like I said it because I was so overwhelmed with everything. I perfected and worked hard and did so much good that I put myself into a little hole. It was ugly and it was rigid and it was not the whole point. And you have to sometimes do that to realize that that's not the way to get there. And my thing is if you don't know, when you go all in on something, it shows you what it is quicker than if you never do. Think about it. Put it on a relationship. If you pretend and you shapeshift and you could maintain the most toxic relationship for freaking decades, when you are exactly who you are, they're going to get repelled by you, or they're going to eventually show their truth because they can't handle it and they will remove themselves. It's in your favor to be who you are and be it like so potent, right? And then you get to course correct. So that's the difference in a choice and a decision. When you make a decision, you go all in. And then at the end of that decision, if it's like this relationship is not what I thought it was, then guess what? You have choices. You pick another one, go all in. The person that lives like that, they have a movie that would take hours to tell. They have so many experiences, good, bad, medium, sparkly, dark, all of these different things. They are so alive. And then what have they accidentally started strengthening? An abundance mindset, something that we're all wanting to have. Why? Because they already know that if this ends, something better comes. And if this happens, something better. And so they're training this spiritual muscle and this expectation that if this doesn't work out, something else will. If this job doesn't pan out, this one will. If this relationship doesn't pan out, it's going to give me something that's going to make me super cool and it's going to attract this person and this is all going to. So no matter what, living that way is going to give you far more than I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to overthink everything. I'm not going to actually take any steps. You can just put it on a car analogy. Let's make it super simple. Say that you have like a fork in the road. The person that gasses it and just chooses, I'm going to go down the right side, and they gas it and they go all the way down to find out it was a dead end just to come all the way back. And then they go down the left side with certainty and then they're on the path. Versus who do you think is going to get to their quote unquote path, the truth quickest? That person or the person that gets to the fork in the road and they panic. And they're trying to get the attention of all the people speeding past them off the right side. What did you hit? What was that? How did it go? What? Or they're just like looking to see and they're just dizzy. And guess what? They haven't moved and they don't even have a cool story. The other people are like, hey, there's a T-Rex and an ostrich. Don't know why they're both there. Also a dead end. I'm headed back. It was fun. Also, this is Sharon and that's Fred. And we found each other on the way back.
Yeah.
So to me, I always just like oversimplify it, make it a little bit funny because it proves a huge point.
It does.
Everyone thinks that no movement is safety. It's not.
Mm. Well, I'm glad to hear it's everybody and not just me,
all of
because
us.
I can tell you, like, like all of these analogies, all of these stories you've shared, I feel like I've sat here and just observed so much because it's all what I needed to hear. All things that are just like reinforcing things that, one, I already know.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I am stuck at the fork in the road right now and trying to know which path is going to be like the easier, greener grass. And the only way to know is through, right?
Well, and even just think about what you're saying. Trying to know is intellectualizing. So what you need to go and do is you need to get in your best version of you that you can within the time frame that you have. The greatest, truest version of you, always knowing you're always a work in progress. All of us are. And the best version of you when you feel your best, when in your body, when you are in a state of feeling your best, choose what matches you, what excites you the most, what makes you feel like you want to be pulled towards it, instead of feeling your worst and picking the thing that you want to run away from the least. You see how it's totally different?
Yes.
And so that's always my kicker, because this is like a little thought experiment that I sometimes have with myself when I'm trying to know, and because I still totally have that part of my personality in my brain. What if in some version of all this, the things that you have to go through, and you trying to avoid going through them is never going to eliminate the fact that you have to go through them. But you always get to choose how you experience the things you have to go through. So then when a bad relationship happens, instead of being like, why did it happen to me? You're like, oh, thank God it happened. Moving on. Imagine if you had to drive through, like in West Texas, no offense, West Texas, I love you so much. So much love. There are some towns that smell like cow manure because, So when you drive through the town, you're just super happy to get through it. You really hope you won't have to have a bathroom stop in the town, and you just want to get through it as quickly as you can. Exactly. So don't cry through it. Don't stop, and don't try to avoid the fact that it's going to have to happen. Make a joke, laugh at it, enjoy something, get through it.
Carry
and
on.
the less you rage against it, the more you're going to gain something of great value. And the more you can just be like, okay, if this happened, I was supposed to go through it. Why? What other version do you have? You weren't supposed to go through it. It's just kind of one of those things, like if you took a course in college that you didn't need to take, are you going to try to delete everything you learned from that class because you found out you didn't need it for your degree? Stop it. You accidentally learned about knitting in your, construction work. It's fine. You'll use it. You'll stitch up your shirt or something, right? So you got to think of it in a very practical way of like, if you're going to go through it, but again, how are you going to go through it? Who are you going to be going through it? What value are you going to get going through it? Because the going through things is the inevitable part, right? And it could be the playful part. Like once I started just being okay with the fact that we're going to be anxious, we're going to be worried, we're going to like, part of those are just like north, south, east, west again, instead of being like, oh, we're going north again. It's just like, just go north and then quickly go west. My goodness. You know what I mean? And then you can put like a playfulness on it, but to expect a human life to never have any tragedy, never have any heartbreak, never have any challenges, never have any pain, never have any symptoms, never have, like, even just put that on your body, to expect your body to live a life with no symptoms. So that means you can't ever get a scab.
Yeah.
You can't ever cough. So
Touché.
The bad stuff isn't bad. The bad stuff is healing something, right? It's not bad. It's just part of the process. And so if we can just rethink everything, and every single day try to get back to this, refresh, because again, you're here, but now exactly where your mind is at, where your body is at, this is what, as we end this, memorize how light it feels in you. Memorize what truth feels like. Memorize how it feels in your body, what was going on in your mind, how things are kind of, and you don't feel like you need to go buy that tea, buy that supplement, buy that device. You almost kind of want to start getting rid of them. Memorize how you feel right now. Memorize yourself. Really pay attention. Even after we end this, don't jump to something else because something radical is happening in you. This is the rewiring. And if you don't feel comfortable in peace, if you don't feel comfortable in freedom, if you can't sustain what your body feels like when it's at peace, in power, and in truth, think about it. You're going to supplement it away tomorrow. It's uncommon. It's unfamiliar for you to not feel like you have to go buy something, grab something, learn something, jump to the next thing, go. So you've got to create a new pathway, the opportunity, maybe the experiment for all of us here for the next 3 days. How can you access this feeling in you again? And how can you live it? Because if you don't live it, you're not going to rewrite anything. So this version of you that feels this truth, that feels this peace, that feels this solid, right? It feels good here. You feel confident. You feel capable. You don't feel tiny and needing and like, what was that? Zinc plus copper on a Thursday under the light, then turn on the other light, then breathe in the... No, you're just like, I'm actually kind of craving going dancing, or maybe getting a record player, or maybe learning about music, or maybe writing my music, or like just pay attention to what happens in you when you stop trying to heal, thinking about healing, and do an experiment and see how hard it is. Can you recreate this feeling that we all got to here? Can you recreate it tomorrow? What would you have to do? Because what did we access in you? Right? Really go into it, write about it. Like, what in you changed? You need less, and that's making you feel like more. Right now, you're remembering a truth about you that is, you're still listening because something is hitting, right? It's you were thirsty and you are getting water, right? You're wanting it. It's not tactics to keep your attention. We know the average, human attention span right now is like 9 seconds. It's really not great.
Yeah.
So if you're here, there's something here. So go find in your life, how do I recreate peace? How do I recreate stability? How do I recreate trust? What would a life look like? How would I have to behave as the character in that movie for her to feel like this? What would she go? Her next thing would not be going to another podcast or it would not be going to Instagram or social media or even opening that book about diet, or it would go to what?
Joy, fun.
And like, I want to go
experience.
do something. I kind of want to go change my outfit. I kind of want to go, and whatever that is, you need to start feeding that muscle again with your wisdom. That's how you're going to create that life that gives that chemistry to your blood, that transfers that to the tissues, duration and concentration. Then you're out of the game, right? So think about that. Really do, like, we got 2 really cool experiments here. This one will change your life. If every single day you're going to wake up frantic, I need to do this, I need to put those 3 drops in my water, I need to go do this, I need to go do that. Whenever you feel like you're wanting to sound like whatever sound just came out of me, you need to pause and ask a different question. Just ask a different question. What do I need to do to heal? Or what do I need to... No, stop. Yeah. I need you to say, like, how do you feel? And we need to handle that first. And then what feeling are you missing? Because the other side of your life is your medicine is understanding that the life you're not living is either medicating you or it's poisoning you. So it's not just the stuff that you're putting in your life, but you're going to get an effect from the stuff that you're not putting in. So if you're not putting in alcohol, then you get a positive, right? If you're not putting in things that harm you, that's a positive. If you're not putting in creativity, desire, passion, community, even meeting somebody that has totally different views than you and you can still enjoy their company, you are missing out on a life. People that agree with your imagination and the stories you believe in, that's not a connection, right? To have the capacity to engage with people, to be interested. They don't have the same favorite flavors as you. They won't have the same religious backgrounds, health but you probably all have some really cool truths packed in there that might transform something about you. It might be the record player you didn't know you needed, right? But again, the feeling that you're feeling right now is the medicine of all of this. And so how tomorrow can you wake up, and you're going to have to work your butt off, but we already know you're going to have to work, but now you're working in a direction that's going to change your life. Whenever you're working towards something that you actually want, any amount of work will be okay. When you're working towards something you don't really want, that somebody else wants for you, any amount of work's too much.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, how to recreate feeling powerful, feeling unlimited, feeling unrestricted, having that feeling of that just gigantic leap of, I don't have to ask for permission
To fly.
I just freaking fly and handle what it feels like when they don't like that I can fly. That's the medicine.
I mean, I want to thank you, one, for giving me so much time, for everybody who's listening, so much time and so many nuggets of wisdom and simple examples of how we can untrip ourselves and just live, whether you have some sort of health challenge going on or not. Like, I think we all need to hear this message and we all need to apply it. Like, the action, I'm realizing, is what is missing for me. Like, I have it all dancing in my head. Sure, sounds great. Going to do it. But like, no, to your point, don't go get sucked into like the comfort zone and the zombie disillusion as soon as this conversation is over. Because I feel
beg for your attention. It's gonna and like the more powerful a person, the more you have to bring to this world and contribute, the more it will set off fireworks to capture your attention. So your discipline for your power really is what you have to start enforcing, because whatever gets your attention gets your life, gets your power, right? So I think this time, at least, though it took part of your life and part of your time, I think it returned some power, and that was the intention. But now with every decision that you make decisions as an investor, not as a consumer. And when you make decisions on the investment level, and I'm talking like, let's go spiritual, and then you can also do physical as well, but you move differently.
Yeah. And
it's not their job for anybody else in your life to understand anything going on in you. I think that's the last thing I really, like, you brought that up beautifully in this conversation, and I don't think it could be said enough. It is not your responsibility to know what's going on in anyone else, right? It's 100% your responsibility to own what is going on in you, to manage it, to fortify it, to clean it up, to garden what needs to be gardened. And then how well you manage that, because then that's going to force you to ask for what you need, to say no when you mean no, to have the boundaries. Why? Because you're going to know yourself so well.
Yeah.
And then when you are in that level of integrity, everything is a contribution. There's this beautiful quote I talked about in my emotions class. I can't remember the author, but she was talking about generosity. I think this is important for women to kind of wrap this all up. But she was saying true generosity is giving all that you can and feeling that you lose nothing. So if you are in a place where you're giving and giving and giving, and you can say, and I feel so depleted, you need to go have an integrity check on what your motive is, on why you're giving. And it's not, don't take these things as judgmental things. Take them as a curiosity of like, oh shit, I didn't know that could change the physiology. Because when you're giving, the way that her quote is saying, energy returns to the system, right?
Right.
And again, isn't it crazy that this is our design, to contribute? And we benefit from it if it's done in a true way. We don't benefit if we're manipulating and strategizing. But what medicates is going to be given to the truth of what medicates a life, not to the stuff, to the person engaging with all of it. And then when you flip it around, then the stuff becomes stuff. It's not bad. It just is what it is. Alcohol does what alcohol does. Green tea does what green tea does. Neither one is bad. They're just, if you don't want that effect accumulating, don't do it. But don't get mad at a body if it's drunk after 3 bottles of wine and then you have all the repercussions of it. You did it. Own it. You get more from owning it than you ever would.
This was beyond my expectations. I just want to thank you. I will absolutely include in the notes of this episode how people can get in touch with you. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Yeah.
This is such a gift.
And I like the last thing that I do want to point out, this is the importance of conversation, communion. So without you here, so many of these things would never get touched. There's so many of those stories I've never told, right? And so we always have to know that in life, there's always that dynamic. And it's always like if a different version of you came to this, I would pick up different things and I would change. But the integrity, the honesty, the purity, the everything that you bring to this conversation, that gets matched in me. And then we create this, right? And so what we create is what we leave behind, right? We don't stay behind. And so things like this, I am honored and grateful to become a part of, because both of our lives, we had to go through a lot to get here. And we could probably talk for years on all of that. But we bring all of this here to squeeze out any of the goodness that we can bring for somebody that might be listening to this during their hardest time. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that happened to bring all this together, and everything that you listened to and everything you took action on, and then more of who you brought into the conversation to allow these parts of my conversation to have a little place to exist for anyone that might need it, right? A younger version of you or me, or another woman, or somebody that feels like she's doing it all alone, or a man too. And so I appreciate it. And just, this is the medicine. This would be at a coffee shop in another reality, right? Maybe in France, or who knows.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Or Spain, or Italy.
Look at her. And then we know it, and we know exactly who he is, because you're like, no, that's hi. Like, oh, I know exactly who you are, actually. I know exactly who you are.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Thank you. And, you said you get, just one last thing, like you get those signs, like, all the signs you had when you pulled up to the record player guy's house. Like, I get these little chills down my arm. And from the second, and they're always like a good feeling, like a reassuring sign. From the second we jumped on, I've had them like ongoing throughout this conversation. So
hold those, try to perpetuate those on the other side. And I think one thing that I would love to say, I don't think I've ever heard, but just to remind everybody, whatever comes alive in you in these conversations, it has to do with you, even though it's going to seem like it's me and Jamie, or you're going to want to latch on to us in a way. But we can have the friendship and the connection, and we can be inspirational maybe on your journey. But whatever you just created in you is already alive in you. It's just trying to find reasons to come out. And so, that was one of the biggest things. And so I think if we end on that and know that if you're feeling alive in you, if you're feeling inspired, if you have those goosebumps, that it's because that's in you, and we found a meeting point to maybe magnify it a little bit. That's the cool part. There was one podcast I did with Alex Zek. He talked about these kids that were doing these really cool things. One of the kids got minimized by an adult that was there, and it just totally made him stop having his quote unquote power, until the kid was returned to the table with the other children that shared that same power. And so even what you're doing here, Jamie, and pulling in people, there's a level of this that is bringing people to the table, saying, don't forget who you are. Not, those kids didn't take over and reteach that kid of his power. They just welcomed him back to the table. And I was like, no, you do it all the time, dude. Like, just,
you got this.
Yeah, just keep doing it. And what I felt in that story was the ones that know, the ones that are in it, They make you doubt your doubt.
Mm.
And I think that's exactly what this is. Let's bring more to the table, not to be like everybody else at the table and figure out how, but to all sit at the table, one, knowing we belong, and two, for us all to like reach out. And anytime one of them starts forgetting who you are, to say, hey, no, make you doubt your doubt. Know who you are, know what's in you, know. And that, I think, is the greatest value of this, is to bring you to the table and say, you're here because you do what we do. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Don't let anyone make you think that you can't. Doubt your doubt.
Love that.
Right?
Yes. Doubt your doubt.
Woo. All right. That felt good.
That felt amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Can't wait to share this. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Bye, everyone.
Appreciate you.
Did you enjoy this episode? If so, I would appreciate you taking a moment to please leave a 5-star review. Every review helps visibility with this episode to reach more people. And I am on a mission to help people learn alternate resources to support themselves in their healing journey on their road to health. So please take a moment to leave a review, leave a comment. I read every single one and I respond back. And of course, the most helpful thing you can do is to share this episode. If you found it helpful, if you found it entertaining, please share it on social media, send it to a friend, a loved one, someone you think could find this helpful. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, and I will see you soon.